We're starting to see the rebound in the crypto market, primarily looking right here at Bitcoin, where you're seeing the price action made a nice move to the upside right in this zone. Nice, I mean, crazy. It's going to go to new all-time highs and just never stop, right? Well, this is when everybody gets shaken out. We see the price action revisited back to where these previous range highs were. Seems like it was perfectly within the bullish trend. What did we see now? Beautiful inverse head and shoulders setting up, coming into the FOMC meeting that's only a matter of days away, which a lot of people are excited about. So watch for some chop zone if we get between this 113 and 116 area, because we do have the CME gap there. But this is looking excellent. It's not just Bitcoin. We're seeing Ethereum also, or this is Solana, but where was Ethereum? We're seeing Ethereum right here nicely starting to make this bounce off of this trend line, this previous resistance, support, a little bit of a washout. Are we about to see that move to the upside? Because we're also seeing it on the ETH to Bitcoin pair, showing potential bottom reversal in this small time frame right here and a falling wedge. This is in addition to the broader altcoin market just pushing itself up right near these previous range all-time highs. Are we about to get that expansion? We got some killer signals. Make sure you're following along. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Watch this whole video. The link is on the bottom of this if you're watching this as a short, but let's get into it. Let's go.
Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing.
The market is waking up just like we want it to. On the scariest moments when you're seeing those dips, you forget about those upside targets that we've been talking about for quite some time now. We're not full system, all systems go yet. However, we are starting to see those signs of that potential reversal. And we talked about it with the bullish divergence that was forming with the price going lower. But those of you paying attention and tuned in here on BitLab Academy and on Discover Crypto and within our Discord, that link is pinned to the top of the live chat there. But we talked about this drop being a setup for the next move up. Why was that? Because the drop in price action makes everybody so scared. And yet during this time period, you see that, especially here on the 8-hour, you can see that the strength was bottoming out here and actually increasing. So the lows here was actually getting stronger, not to mention the amount of money in the ecosystem. Look at this, a lot more money here than here, where a lot was coming out, setting up for that potential bounce, not to mention the falling wedge here, which tends to break to the upside. So now we have an inverse head and shoulders. We're coming up to, again, not all systems go, but to a critical level. Now, what is this critical level? Right here at this 113, 114, under about 113.5. Why is this? Look left on the chart. What do we got? Previous range high, previous range low, previous range low. Okay, coming all the way back across. See, this whole zone, a lot of highs here, and then, of course, a lot of these lows. And this is exactly where the price is. It's battling where there's been a lot of liquidity traded in the chart. In fact, you can just get a box here. What's in the box? Well, the previous price action reversal points. You see this? Reverse down, reversed up, reversed up. Okay, coming back over here, reverse down. So we know that there's been a lot of interest at this level. So price coming back to it, while it feels good, we still need to be a little bit cautious. But the landscape is overwhelmingly bullish looking forward. And we're going to talk about that landscape here in just a moment as every one of you just rolls in here. We got about 500. I know we're going to get about 2,000 or 3,000. Big love to each and every one of you. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. What a starting weekend for football, though. Who was watching the Buffalo Bills Baltimore Ravens game last night? Because it was the first game of the season and they were playing it like it was the Super Bowl, the championship. I mean, it was an absolutely insane game. You could have liked it even if you don't like football, because it was, I mean, just back and forth and back and forth. And I think 4 minutes to go, the Baltimore Ravens were up by 15 points. It didn't look like the Bills had a chance. And then they came back and won the game in the last 4 minutes, which is just phenomenal. I know Green Day Profits and I were in a fantasy league together, and I'm in another league with Crypto Face where we're doing it's a little bit of money on the line. But it's been a fun getting back into football season kicking off. It feels like it's going to be a really good year. So shout out to anybody out there, whether you watch football or actual world football, which is soccer, or any other sport. It's always fun when you get to back into your seasons. But let's talk about what's going on in the market, everybody, because we're seeing some excellent things. By the way, my name's Kelly Kellam. If this is your first time, I can guarantee it's not going to be your last time. Shout out to everybody here that's been stacking. We got William Rodriguez, how you doing? Pre-Rich, Alexandra G, Objectively Real Reality, Objectively, Ugin Sky, Granny's Garden, Green Day Prophets. Who else we got in here? We got the whole crew in here. Big Tip Shark, Nwizzle, Blasnik, T. Owen. Big love to each and every one of you. Now let's dive into this. It's gonna be a little bit shorter. I'm gonna be doing 4 p.m. streams in addition to the BitLab streams here midday. I'm gonna be doing Discover Crypto streams 4 p.m. Moving forward. We've got Josh on today. Josh is back from an incredible trip, doing a lot of networking. So we got to talk about some pretty interesting insights he has from some alpha that he discovered while he was on those trips at a crypto conference, and then some other things that we're going to be dropping on you. So stay tuned on Discover Crypto for that at 4 p.m. But let's talk about what we're seeing here in this market, because it is getting exciting. It's getting into crunch time at the end of the 4-year cycle. The bull market's over, but look at this chart, everybody. How the hell could it be over if you also look even at the previous 2 cycles? On the 4-year cycle metrics, we still have upside, even if it's limited and we have the 4-year cycle play out again. There's still upside in store for where we're at right now, considering especially the fact that we have rate cuts that are all but guaranteed now here in about 10 days, 9 days. This market is so confused right now based on the parameters of it has to be a 4-year cycle, but we have everything setting up for overwhelming bullishness coming into, especially into 2026. So let's make sure that we're paying attention. Everybody that's tuned in here, we got 200 tuned in on YouTube. We got another 600 or so on X, and several on Rumble as well. Shout out to each and every one of you. Make sure you're following. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, show some love, and GM from wherever you're at. I'm going to say GM, Atlanta, and I'm going to say Link, because I just keep stacking Link. So let me know, good morning, let me know, or good afternoon, and let me know what city you're in and what's the last thing that you bought. You don't need to say how much. I'm curious to see what you guys got your eyes on. So let's get into it. Man, I'm excited about what's to come the rest of this year. Let's go. Now, when we get into this, realize nothing's really changed. We've been tickling around this $4 trillion mark for quite some time. In fact, look at this. If you go all the way back to the beginning of August, just under 4 trillion, a little bit above 4 trillion, below 4 trillion, just a little bit above, right at 4 trillion, a little bit below. I mean, basically sideways range for the last month and a half. If we look at, that's 30 days. If we look at year, look at this. I mean, really, we're at the same price on total market cap as we were back here, just a little bit under it, basically back here in November and December. So all of this move to the downside washed so many people out. And then the move back to the upside, we're running away. And then the people get liquidated because they're getting too exuberant. And yet, I mean, just realize nothing's really changed, except people are getting their feelings hurt because it doesn't go the direction they want the moment they want it. But look at the fear and greed index. We're neutral. Altcoins starting to heat up. We can see this also on this total chart. If we, especially we come over here to the others, we see that this has really just been, I mean, little mini alt cycles. It's like, oh, trap them, wash them out, trap them, wash them out, back and forth. I still am very much of the opinion we're going to get this move to the upside and see some monster gains in some of the altcoins out there that we've all been holding and stacking into and doing content on as well. So let's talk about it, because we're still looking for these upside targets. The question is, what's going to be the path to get there? Part of that path needs to be patience. Part of that path needs to make sure that you're not jumping in emotionally and out emotionally every single time the market moves a little bit, because it could get here and still wash us out before. I mean, we've had this on the chart for some time, this gift from God buy zone, 74 up to about $95,000. The price, even as bullish as I am right now, we could get this washout, which would wreck a lot of people, and then ultimately still hit these targets. We may just run away from this and not hit this. That's why this is the gift from God buy zone. You see, this isn't, oh my God, I'm scared zone. This would be a gift if the price came down into this area. So let's talk about what's going on. Well, let's first focus a little bit on Chainlink because I feel something brewing massive for Chainlink, okay? Sergey Nazarov, one of the founders, said after meeting with White House officials, which is a regular occurrence now with the Chainlink team, meeting with the SEC, meeting with the White House, meeting with regulators, meeting with banks, they are getting so integrated and they're in all the right circles that tokenization is accelerating with policymakers showing urgency to bring markets on chain. And this is one of the reasons why I think Chainlink is the most undervalued crypto, especially when you consider this. Look, let's zoom back over here and realize everything that Chainlink is integrated with, everything throughout the crypto ecosystem and traditional markets. And you notice it's way down here. It's number 12. Hyperliquid, a freaking exchange protocol, has $17 billion, where Chainlink is sitting here at 15. This, in my very deep opinion, is going to make it somewhere up here in the, I would say 4 to 8 range, somewhere up in here. And these prices are all going to increase. The market caps are going to increase along the way. So I'm not thinking Chainlink's going to get, maybe up to 72 billion or, up to 35 billion. I'm thinking it's going to get somewhere in this rate. Whatever all of these things are increasing, I think this is going to start to outpace as some of these integrations get live, but also the fees that go live in November. So let's make sure we're paying attention to this, especially as tokenization is heating up, because this could not be more bullish. And then you see our boy Quentin Francois, I had him on, a good friend of mine here. He said NASDAQ files with the SEC to allow tokenization and blockchain listing of stocks. Now, this is going to be incredible for Chainlink, for Solana, for Ondo, for a lot of these layer ones that are doing the RWA tokenization of assets. So these types of things, I think, go past the retail mind and realizing the implications of what it means for the blockchain ecosystem and especially key protocols like Ethereum, like Ondo, which is doing, it just brought 100 plus securities and traditional assets on chain. Injective even doing it. Solana, Avalanche. We're going to see some incredible things in the near future as the regulatory landscape is now ushering crypto in versus pushing it out and putting its foot on its throat. The time has changed, the tide has changed, so make sure you're wearing your floaties. And the floaties in this next stage of the economy is having Bitcoin, crypto, digital assets, blockchain investments, because that's going to be what the world is built on as we look forward. And then we see right here, it just gets stronger and stronger. Grayscale has just filed an S1 for a Chainlink ETF with the SEC. So this would be phenomenal if this were to get approved and deployed. We got Crypto Tony in the chat. Red Elephant, how you doing? We got the homies here. Big love to all of you. We got 1,300 people between the different platforms we're on live right now. So shout out to each and every one of you. Huck says, bang. That's right. And then we see the magnet to the upside, even with the recent downside price action where the Bitcoin top was in, it is in if you are a chump. Bitcoin is going up and to the right for the rest of our lives. Along the way, there's going to be dips. There's going to be dips, and people are going to call those tops, especially right now where we're coming in to where people are thinking the end of the 4-year cycle is. And that's not September. That would be sometime in October or November. So even on that metric, we have more time. But if we're looking at this in the midterm or near-term time frame, look at where the liquidity is in the chart. That's going to be the biggest magnet for what price action is going to do. So all these bright colors above us, the price is a moth. The moth is going to go to the brightest flame. This is the flame. So let's light those profits on fire, baby, by making sure we're stacking in the fear in the dips and taking profit in the rips for those of you that are trading. For those of you that are smart, you're stacking into long-term holds in these dip buying opportunities. But the magnet is to the upside. The set up a dip that will scare the people. That's the nature of every market. Dip, make them think it's over, and then you shake out the weak hands. But the overwhelming magnets to the upside. So stack dips here. This is my agenda right now. I don't know what you're doing. You might have a different strategy, and that's okay. Whatever you're doing, I hope you're making money. And then we see the 2017 to 2025 comparison. And even somebody that commented, I forget, it's somebody quote tweeted this and commented, but what about 2021? Well, all of it's still the same. Look at what we're seeing here. This is a 2021 move right here. And then we got still a continuation to the upside here with the new high. This ran up a little bit earlier than we saw in 2017, and likely because we had a big sell-off here that resulted from COVID, but then massive signals in money printing and softening of what the Fed was doing with interest rates. So you got to move early. Then it sold off, but then we still got a new higher high here after where we're at in this cycle, measured from the low. Same thing with 2017, which is a yellow line here. Still was curving to the upside. So when we're looking at this and we realize, okay, what does this look like? Bitcoin 2017 to 2025, same fake out, same breakout. The only difference, this one is 27 times bigger. So let's understand what we have in store for us. Now, I'm not thinking we're going to go like this metric from 3,000 all the way up into 20,000, because that is a massive X multiple. Now, if we go from here, we pulled down to 74,000, pushed up to 125. We had a little softness here. Anywhere in that 150 to 220 range is, very, very reasonable. We've had this marked out for quite some time. People just get lost in the chop, in the moments that are meant to make people that don't deserve the profits lost. So don't get lost, because you're telling the market that you don't deserve the profits that are here to come. The markets can remain irrational longer than most people can remain solvent. That rings no more true than what we're feeling in this market, especially with altcoins over this last year and a half, this cycle since early 2023. But I'm still expecting some move here, whether it's only up to 150, 160, or maybe we get that explosive, a lot of integrations and strategic Bitcoin reserve starts getting bought by, whatever. But either way, I think there's upside yet to come. And then we got this massive chart here. Green is next for Bitcoin. What is he talking about? Just green price action? No, look at this macro trend oscillator. When this flips green, boom, where are we at in the cycle? When this flips green, right here, okay? Where are we at in the cycle? Straight above, boom. When this flips green, what has followed each time that has happened? We've seen massive upside following that, whether it's muted in terms of angle or whatever. I think the data is showing us, especially considering that people still argue if the top is in. Well, let's go ahead, go back to market cycle indicators, free tool. Okay, 30 different indicators. Do you see any check marks over here? All X's, 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 everything out of these top 30 indicators that are suggesting where a market cycle top could be, none of them are triggering. So we're getting a multitude of different metrics that are only suggesting hang on to your britches, because it's about to get into some ribbage, okay? And I'm here for the rippage. And then you have to consider, and I've talked about this last week, took over 200 years to get $1 trillion in debt for the US government. $1 trillion took over 200 years. And we do it now every 2, 3, 4 months. We had $1 trillion. Since July 2nd, we added $1.1 trillion in debt. And people are wondering, if Bitcoin's topping, I don't give a mother F if Bitcoin is topping on a 4-hour, 1 week, or even 6-month or 2-year time frame. When you realize this destruction of our US economy, the destruction of the dollar, the destruction of the buying power, the destruction and the spit in your face of the hours you've worked to earn money, when this money gets printed and this spits in the face of every hour you've ever worked and say it's less valuable. That's why it's so important to make sure that you are finding investments that you understand, stacking into them. And if you don't understand them, then spend some damn time understanding them. Every single one of you has some streaming service, whether it's TV or Netflix or the internet. And none of us spend as much time as we should educating ourselves on the things that are going to make our life better. None of us, whether it's breath work, push-ups, exercise, golf, learning a passion, understanding Bitcoin, even if the minimum understanding is, I think it's going to be good. So you ape in and you're able to hold. Guys, we are literally in the midst of an accelerated flippening of the entire monetary culture of the world, and people are worried here. What are you talking about? Oh man, I love you guys so much, and I cannot believe we're all here together in this time frame, especially when you're seeing the global liquidity, the fuel for all the bulls to run, is only ticking to new highs, and people are worried. Guys, don't ignore that there's still more gas being put in the car. Bitcoin, crypto, up still. Yes, that's right. Buying opportunities are in every one of these dips. Watch for a dip that will nearly convince you the top was in. It's not. We're going to see those scary moments, and I'm going to point you back, and we're going to get into a lot more TA later on in this week. So don't mind you. This is Monday. We got to get the week set up. Just a reminder here: when you zoom back in time on Bitcoin, let's go to an older chart. When you zoom back in time, there was 11 moves, sell-offs, crashes. Top is in. 11 crashes that the top was in this 2015 to 2017 bull run. 11 that were larger than 15% move to the downside. 8 of them were over 30 to 45% downside. When you understand that that is still possible and you realize that this has been the most luxurious bull market ever. Oh my God, this is so scary with the, 20% dip. Okay. Oh, it's over. Oh, with the 20% dip. Oh my God, it's over. From the top there, it did get a little scary. 32% dip. So there's the first real dip that was also a sideways chop that really ate a lot of people for breakfast there. And then again, push up here to 109,000 and it's over. Oh, 30%. Looks like we're right on pace for what we've seen in previous cycles. Now, could this happen? I'd be an absolute buyer if it did. But I'm of the opinion, very much so. Where are we at? Let's get to the 4-hour, double click here. Okay. We've got the beautiful falling wedge, the inverse head and shoulders. We're coming up to a key level, which is a previous range highs, previous range lows. That's why we have this bar across, this slightly colored bar. The next level up is going to be to break through this, which puts us into the territory of this CME futures gap. Because this is kind of bullish the last, few 4-hour candles does not mean it's going to rip now. In fact, we could get another washout down and come down here to 106, 105. Could. I didn't say we will. But currently speaking, RSI is coming back above the 50 line. We got the money flow is positive. It is kind of tapering down, but looking like it's starting to arc. So I think we're going to start to get some interesting, more bullish leaning price action going into the FOMC meeting with a potential washout at or around that happening so they could take advantage of you, and then some rippage into October and November. That's my opinion of what's going to happen. But I'm prepared regardless of what happens, because when you realize this, and I shared this over the weekend, if we look at Frank's post here, it says Bitcoin has spent most of the last year in the green AVIV band between price mean and +1 standard deviation. That's what SD means. From my view, a bullish impulse into the blue zone between 126 to 142K is well within the cards. I think not only is that within the cards, I think it's overwhelmingly likely. And likely, I think at some point we'll at least push into this yellow, if not well into the red. But the point here is I quote tweeted this and shared, okay, people are worried about the tops, but we're also seeing these charts that were on the bottom side of ranges that are suggesting more bullishness. And then you look at this, the reserve risk on-chain data, which looks at the reserve wallets, basically wallets that are higher, more accumulation, but also price activities. And you see back here, when this was down here in this green section, this was the early part of this bull run before, and this is where it flipped right here. This is where it finally went out of it. Look at how much we still had left before it had to make it all the way up here to the top. We didn't really get that in the last cycle. Last cycle was a little bit bizarre because of the money printing, because of China, but there's a lot of this. But the point being is, we're not even out of this. We're not even out of the asymmetric good buy opportunity. There's a lot more reward than risk. That's what this area is down here. This entire cycle from the FTX crash all the way through to 124,000 and now back down to 108 and it's over. And we're still in a positive reward is far more greater than risk zone based on the metrics here. So I think we need to take a little bit of a chill pill and let the rippage set up. Because then we got the rate cuts coming. We talked about it. Rate cuts coming, everybody. Bitcoin always pumps hard after the rate cuts get announced. But notice there is a pump, but there's also a dump. There's another pump, also a dump. This is just chopping people out. But what do you see the result of? Up and to the right. So here we're at right now. Notice what we see last cycle. This is Bitcoin and Ethereum, a dip into it. So we've already been starting that dip, over middle of August into where we're at now. Now, is this going to flatten out and then pump and then dump, or is this going to dump a little further? Regardless, I don't care because I am 88% of the opinion, like pretty strong conviction that we still have a large impulse to the upside, even if it's the last impulse. And then we go into a 1.5 year bear market, which I don't think is going to happen. We still have an impulse to the upside at minimum. So let's pay attention to what's coming here. The rate cut's coming up on, I think it's the 16th, 17th, it might be 17th, 18th, but all these things are lining up. And then this is the interesting point. We're under the EMA ribbon. We're at that deciding moment where people are the most fearful. See, kind of support, kind of all the way to the bottom. Support, breakdown, rejection at the top of the band, came back down. We're kind of at this kind of deciding point. And remember, we just saw on that last chart, do I still have it here? I think I already closed it. I just showed you on that last chart that we have seen a sell-off into the rate cuts and then the move up, but the move up is constituted by, rips and dips along the way as well. So I'm just saying we need to be a little bit patient here. I do want to also shout out our channel partners, Arculus. Make sure through all of this, you don't stack, trade, make a lot of money, only to end up getting your crypto hacked because you have it on a browser wallet, you get phished or something like that. Get over to getarculus.com. Use code BitLab20 or DC20 for 20% off. Protect your crypto, protect your future. It's the best crypto cold storage solution out there. I love mine. I know a lot of you out there have those as well. So shout out to all of you. I hope I'm still live because I don't see any live chats in the on the. There's literally zero live chats. Is that on top fans? Reaction. Yeah, I don't know. But I do see it over here on this side, so that's all good. So I hope we're still live. We also let's look at a couple things because we're seeing Aerodrome had a nice little run up, last week. Oh my God, it sold off into the weekend, but then it's right at that cusp now too, coming up to these previous range lows, previous range highs. Also this multi-month into March of last year trend line comes back. Where's it at? Right here. See this trend line, boom. I'll come all. Sometimes the computer these pretzels are making me thirsty. If you get that, then you understand my humor. But we're right cusping on it right now. Look, coming right into this pinch with the apex of these two moving average, trend lines, but also coming into where all of this was, rejection, support, rejection. Okay, there's a lot going on right in this zone. Once this breaks out, I do think we're going to be making that next visit back up here to the 150s and then beyond. But then also we saw Hype had some pretty big. They're just breaking to new all-time highs. Look at this. Breaking to new all-time highs, doing new integrations, new staking features, listing new things like World Liberty Financial, WLFI. We got, I don't get it. I give 0 F's about Hype. I'm only even covering it because it is in the top, 10, top 11 coins. They're making new all-time highs. They're doing some integration. I have literally zero interest in this, but I'll talk about it with you because we are pushing to new highs. And I drew a fib. I drew the fib from here to the bottom instead of the top because I experimented to see where the most interactions of price action were. And it was when you drew from these candle tops here. And we see rejection, support, rejection right here at the golden pocket, break up here. Okay, we're getting a lot of interaction with these levels. This would suggest that we are going to have a bit of a target up here at the 61,894, which is a 2.618 of that move. But there could be some work done in here. There could be a little bit more chop in this zone. If the whole market as a whole just breaks out and rips out of this, then I don't think this will need to continue on. But this is very much on people's radar right now. So keep your mind on that one. BNB also looking like it's trying to make that next move to the upside. There's a bit of a bull flag here. kind of the pole, kind of a flag. It's ugly as it could be though, so I wouldn't really look at it that way. The main thing I'd be looking at BAB is this basically descending resistance trend line right here that it is broken out of. I'd be watching a break of the 905, 903, 905, and then the move, the move up to that next target. Up here 947, up here 1,000. How many of you hold BNB? I'm always surprised there's not more people in the western half of the world that hold BNB for whatever reason. I don't know why, because it's massive in Asia. And we see, look, every time it's broken out, it's made some nice moves, but it's feeling good. Cardano also well within this parallel channel that we've been talking about. Rising channel here came right. I talked about this potentially faking out to the downside, then making the move up. Currently faked out to the downside, but this is not in the clear, because this also could be looked at as a retest of this trend line. If this gets rejected, it could still come down lower. But I feel that's the risk hedged highlight. That could be possible that this rejection comes down lower, but I feel like the market has kind of done its shakeout. I really do. The broader crypto market, I think we're going to see these things start to rebound. I think the money flow is going to tick back in. If we come down to the 4 hour, we're seeing the volumes start to tick up a little bit. We're kind of fighting to get really back above here. All of this chop here, this rejection here, the bottom here. So there's a lot of price action in our activity here. If this can find its way up, and yes, you want a pullback, but what you want is it to find its way up, a pullback that finds support on this trend line, and then the bounce, because then you see the bulls are defending a higher low and within a range that you're worried that you're falling out of, and then you can start talking about making the moves back up to really making some new continuation moves to the upside. Injective also nice sort of reversal here, W pattern. See, that was the worst W pattern there. Okay. A little bit higher low there as well. We're broke through the neckline right here. You notice that? So we broke through the neckline. Look at that. Boom. So this is currently still trying to chop through all of this price action where these lows were, where this rejected, where this chop zone is, this rejected. So what I'd like to see on Injective is just to push up a little bit higher, find support in this region and continue. But we're starting to see some signs of life. XRP. Okay, great. XRP is kind of making out of this trend line right here. Broke out. Looking nice. Looking good. I know a lot of people hold XRP. I may not be a fan, but I hope you make money on it. I really do. I hope every single one of you, regardless of what you're trading, I hope you make money. Hope you change your lives. I really do. Ultimately, that's my number one goal for every single one of you that's on here. I hope you eliminate bad decisions that steal money from you. You're stealing money from yourself when you make stupid decisions. But also, I hope you find entries and exits and the tools that we share here to help you inform you to make smart decisions in this market. Because I'm really of the opinion we're about to get a really nice move in this market. And we have this, look, this SUI making nice move to the upside. XLM, nice move up. Look, coming right into where all this chop is right here. Again, don't be shaken out if you get a move back down that finds support at a previous range high that it just left. It just left this range. Cool. Watch for either a bull flag here or a pullback to test that and the bulls come in. That's what you want to look for. What else we got? Dog on Bitcoin is also finding a little bit of support on this descending, falling channel here. Finding support, boom, and it's starting to make a little bit of legs to the upside. There's some bullish divergence all the way through here, all the way back to the beginning of August that has been setting up. This is on the 12-hour. Let's get to the 4-hour. Money flow ticking back to the zero line. RSI breaking above. Look at this. RSI breaking above the 50 line for the first time, other than this little fake out, since all the way back here. I cannot see what the number is on the bottom because I have too much stuff. Oh, God dang it. Okay, there we go. What is that date? That is August 22nd. This is right here about middle of August. And then, this is starting to show some signs of life. What I'd like to see here with Dog is a nice move up, maybe a little sell-off, reset, and then a breakout, something like that on Dog. But guys, when you see what Doge has done, when you see what even things like Shiba Inu, what all these other meme coins have done, and they're on, a lot of them are imitations of each other. They've done insane numbers in volume and liquidity and numbers of holders. Dog, now that it's becoming more accessible, now that's, getting listed on tier one exchanges, it's also bridged across a number of different assets like Solana and I believe Base, and there's a number of different ones you can. It's easy to get involved with, but it's on Bitcoin. It's on Bitcoin, guys, and I still think we're going to see this at 1 cent, and in fact, I think it's going to go to 10 cents. So let's. I'm just being patient there, and I still got my new studio is almost done. By the way, they were doing construction there today, which is why I'm back at home. But this guy right here, he will be in that new studio. What else we got before we leave? Bittensor Tau. Nice breakout here. Fake out to the downside. Look at that. Fake out W pattern breakout. Oh, we're going back down. Inverse head and shoulders breakout. We're going to talk a little bit about AI this afternoon on the Discover Crypto channel. Am I live? Will you guys let me know if I'm live? Am I live? Let me know if I'm live. Because I see, for whatever reason, none of my live chats are coming through. But I'll keep going. I'll keep going, and then we'll wrap out in a bit. But Bittensor Tau coming up right into where all of this chop is. Again, I'd watch for a little bit of a move to the downside and then bounce and continuation. What else? Link, man, guys. Link. No, you're not live. Thank you, Seth. It's alive. Okay, we had the big fake out. The big fake out. Oh, it's going down. And what did I tell you? The target down here, I said this specifically. This is a target, about 20% drop from that zone, sub $20. I said, well, it could go there, could come and retest this previous range high. I still am of the opinion that we're going to get something like we're doing right now, maybe even a little lower if it has one more move to the downside. But this is a fake out that I'm seeing, because this is such a great reversal pattern to the downside in the middle of when everything is about to get so much more bullish. Hey, let's shake some suckers out, get some cheap Chainlink, and then launch. That's essentially the pattern that I'm seeing play out right now. We're getting flat bottom right here, a little bit lower. RSI, bullish divergence, as you see right here. We also see not quite bullish divergence on the money flow, but much lower. You see there? And the RSI, really stacking in. I'd be watching for Chainlink to break back above this zone that it's really testing right now, 23 to 2375. This is going to be a headache right here at the 24.79. Pay attention to that. That'd be a nice pullback, actually, and then a continuation out of that. But yes, guys, I think we're about to see some fireworks in this market. Ondo, nice. Look at this. We talked about this potential move down. It came down. Now look at this. Adam and Eve, V-shaped, round shape. This is a reversal pattern. It's kind of like one shoulder, one head, right? Think of it that way. So the measurement on that would be, let me zoom out of that, option T, go right there. Target out of that would be up here into right back to the dollar zone, which would make sense because this is where this top is, this is where all this chop is. The setups are getting here. The confidence is getting more excited about what's coming with the Fed rate cut decisions here in the matter of days. But I look forward to seeing you guys on the Discover Crypto channel, 4 p.m. today. Joshua, Jake, and I will be on there talking markets, talking Trump being a scammer. We got some deep alpha to share with you guys. But I love you. I appreciate you. Hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day, and I'll see you guys at 4 o'clock. Adios, muchachos.